Hi, I'm Barbara Bayless Close, and I have been teaching at Palm Beach State Academy for 41 years, and I was a member of the class of 67. And right now I am co-chairing the Centennial with Missy Robinson Savage. And it is next year, and we have a lot of things to talk about. But I really want to talk about the history now. As you may know, maybe you don't, two of us wrote this book, Tradition and Change in Paradise, and I'm going to show you these beautiful pictures on the back. And I want to introduce you to my co-author, and really the one who knows the history of the school very well, Hilary Bish Mendoza. Now, Hilary is from the class of 71. She had four brothers and one sister who went through the school, as well as her three children and two nieces. She taught there 33 years. So, Hilary, what are we going to talk about today?
We're going to talk about Field Day and how it started. Do you want me to start at the beginning with the intramural competition at Mrs. Gates' school?
Yes, I do. I want to talk about Field Day.
Okay. Well, contrary to what everybody believes, Field Day did not begin in 1931 when the Palm Beach Private School began. It actually didn't begin until 10 years later. What had happened is once the Palm Beach School for Boys and the Palm Beach School for Girls merged into Palm Beach Private in 1931, they began the tradition of having a year-long intramural competition. And so the team was into two clubs, they called them, clubs, the Pelicans and the Flamingos. But earlier on in 1916, there was a Palm Beach private school that shared teachers and students and everything like that. And their intramural teams were the Sharks and the Barracudas. So we became from the predators of the sea to these lovely birds. I myself was a flamingo captain, and Barbara, you were a pelican.
And I was a pelican captain.
So originally in 1931, with the year-long competition, they had every Wednesday afternoon at 4. Instead of the regular sports time, they actually had pelican flamingo competitions. And they were in baseball and soccer and volleyball and swimming. And the swimming was held off campus. And so the team that won was the one that amassed the most points throughout the year. There was no field day. However, in 1940, the Board of Trustees said that they were going to create a field day for the following year, 1941. It was at the end of April, and it would be an all-day affair. So originally, some of the competitions were tennis, swimming, soccer, volleyball, field hockey, and fencing. And the tennis was held off campus at the Bath and Tennis Club, and the swimming was held at the Lido Pools, which was right across from the public beach right now. And each student had to participate in 3 events. There were, and Barbara can talk about this a little bit more because some of these events were gone by the time I came. But there were mother-son, father-daughter races, like sack races and 3-legged races and the wheelbarrow races. And there was also a luncheon, which I'm sure Barbara will talk about, and a tea. And there was also the art show went on at the same time. So in the first years, there were no tug of wars or tugs of war, I guess is the way it's put. And there were some very different events that were held on the East Field, the West Field, and the South Field, which is currently occupied by the Halmos gym. So, Barb, you want to add any?
Yeah. So my first field day was 1958, and I was there till about 1967. So no, we didn't actually have a tug of war, but we did have races with our parents participating with us. And I believe there were even some races where the parents were by themselves. And then I've also heard that in the 40s, there was actually a chauffeur's race where just the chauffeurs raced. So, but what I remember about the day was that it was like a festival all day long, and there was an amazing amount of food at lunch. I must have really liked food in those days, because I just remember there was just platters of food, and you'd go out and you'd work really hard and you'd come back in and you could eat all this food. And then after it went into the afternoon until the day was older. But it wasn't really a competition that day, because you were just building points for the year. There was not like a trophy for the day.
No. As a matter of fact, you could win field day as a team and lose the competition for the year.
Wow. So it is one of our most beloved events, and it has rocked back and forth. Pelicans win several years in a row, and then Flamingos win several years in a row. And right now, I mean, I think it's the number one thing that alumni talk about is field day.
Also, remember, Barbara, that was also up until when I came in the 60s, the late 60s, they divided families.
That's right. That's right. Yes. In my family, one brother was a flamingo, and then the other brother was a pelican. Fortunately, we weren't captains in the same year, but we were all captains. In fact, my younger brother and I were captains the same year, which we won that year, by the way. How'd you do?
We won. We won that year also, and we also won for the year.
Oh, wow. That I don't remember. Probably.
But my brother, it was a flamingo captain. They won field day and lost for the year. Oh, so wow. The trophy went to the Pelicans. Very unfortunate.
Okay, so I hope we've given you some idea of the history of the field day. And we're going to try to do this again, because Hilary Mendoza is just full of knowledge about the school. And in fact, there's going to be a blog that we're going to have next year during the centennial, where we will trace the history from the 20s all the way through, doing it a decade at a time. And what do you think we'll talk about next time, Hilary?
I think we're going to talk about some of the interesting founders of the Palm Beach Private School. One who made his fortune in mining and then was actually murdered in the Bahamas. And others, and one family who owned the Hope Diamond and suffered from the curse. So, and wow. Also Marjorie Merriweather Post, who at that time was married to a man named Davies. So nobody really knows that she was one of the founders.
Excellent. Okay, well, thank you, Hilary.
Thank you, Barbara.